math department, your friendly math coordinator here, calling in from her in-laws with 2 kids who won't leave the room, so we're just going to forge ahead. Couple announcements, and then sort of an overarching pep talk philosophical approach. First, the announcements, Global Online Academy. Key, please, can you go drive that somewhere else? I need you to go. July 8th to the 12th, hopefully you're already signed up. The other GOA is going to be July 15th to the 19th. When is Canvas training happening? You might ask. Probably end of July, early August. Please go do that somewhere else. Will we be remote? Will we be in school? We don't know. I'm beginning to start. I've been talking to Shanique. I'm beginning to hear what I would describe as like next year will be unlike anything we've ever done. I was talking to Shanique and I was like, well, how could I teach 7 regular and 7 enriched? Like, if you want us in sort of grade groupings, which was one possibility or option, they're coming up with all sorts of solutions. One option was like, maybe we might just teach 7 regular and 7 enriched. And my question was, but wait, they meet at the same time. And her response was, see, there's a great example. Like, our schedule will function and our year will function unlike anything ever before. So I am finding that it has been very frustrating in this connect-ed learning to like fit a square peg in a round hole. And I'm finding that I'm hearing more and more that it will be totally unlike anything we've done, different schedule, different priorities. And in some ways that is getting me away from trying to use the square peg and just like throwing that out and just focusing on like the present. So what I mean by that is I would really, here are some ways I'm approaching it, I guess. I'm trying to think of what made the remote setting so stressful, and I'm trying to reduce that workload. And then I'm trying to think of how, if I'm less stressed, how can I offer the boys more of me? Because I felt like I wasn't able to offer like my person and my connection. So how can I, spend more time with the boys? And so maybe, does that mean like less grading? Does that mean more projects for them? The other thing is we might be teaching in a totally different way. We might be teaching a lot of classes or longer classes. Like, we don't know. It could look very different. So when we talk about thinking about our curriculum and totally rewriting it and paring it down to just the basics, it's really the basics. So definitely my personality is like, no, we can still fit everything in. Let's just keep doing everything. I'm beginning to think that we really also have an opportunity to like throw out the baby with the bathwater and, by the way, which I learned where that comes from if you want to ask me, and start anew. So we could really think about like, what do we truly want our kids to be able to understand and like backwards map. And I don't just mean that like in August we want them to leave knowing fractions, decimals, blah, blah, blah. Think about like, I want them to have a sense of like grit and ability to take a huge challenging problem and face it and ask for help and recognize how they contribute to a group and how they function within a group. I want them to have maybe working towards proficiency, but at least an exposure to issues of racial, social, and environmental injustice. I want them to, right, of course, amidst all of this, they will be learning their fractions and their decimals, but maybe we're doing, a whole lot of group work and different assessments, and maybe all the things that we've thought about trying but have never got around to doing because we would have been like cramming it in and not sure what we need to remove. Maybe this is the opportunity to do that. Because on the one hand, it'll be a totally different situation, so we have like the space and we're being told to like rethink what the fundamentals are that you want to teach. On the other hand, like, who's going to be hounding us of like, I don't think during the pandemic you taught them enough fractions, because A, I know we're going to cover fractions, and B, we're like trying to keep people alive and keeping our kids like hearts and souls balanced and maintain like a sense of community and mental health for everyone. Like, let's start recognizing that this is a really extenuating circumstances and like it is abnormal. So I guess, by the way, I reserve the right to retract everything I'm saying. um, but what I wanted to pass on to you was really giving yourself like some creative, open-ended exploration. I mean, I feel like we're coming from a place where we used to be told that like these are all the things you need to do. Don't remove anything from your curriculum. Let's just add in a research project. We're coming from a place where we were told like all of our exams and all our content needs to be like 80% identical. We're coming from a place where we've had this really like lockstep math approach. What if we take a year off from that? Again, what if you just harness your abilities and your interests and we decide on like just a few fundamentals that definitely all the kids will have. But what if you find a way to use compass constructions through artwork, and it doesn't really matter if they know how to bisect an angle, but at least they know how to like twirl a compass around and make something cool and color it in, and like you got to talk about interesting things while you guys all worked on it in Zoom. What if, sorry, there's a printer going. I'll stop talking. Those are some thoughts. Expand your mind, be creative. This is the year to really, I think, try new things, right? Again, I reserve the right to retract that as your department chair in case I need to, but also, as long as you're trying new things with responsible, good intentions and it's well thought out, and you're recognizing where students are and the stressors they might be enduring, more group work, more writing, more creative assessments, less like symbolic, just like repetitive math. Like maybe now's the time for us to see if that would work. So that is something to think about. Feel free to share some musings and responses to this. I think we could all if you guys want to ramble and share a response and send it to everyone, it might be interesting. I don't have any other information than that to call a meeting or anything. So as you rethink the curriculum and those guidelines that I shared before, really open up the opportunities and the options. Don't limit yourself. Maybe another way to think is really starting from scratch. All those ideas you ever thought of, what if you tried those? Again, one final detail, I do think enriched and regular will still be possible, but it's possible that it's not. So maybe this is the year that we see what it's like to have totally a mixed group of kids in a classroom. So then we have to think even more about differentiation and how do we offer those different levels for the diversity in our classroom. So I don't know. We don't know a lot of things. So that I'm trying to work forward and make that inspiring rather than stressful. I'm going to stop talking. Bye, guys.